Alright boys, so I wanted to come out here and do a little bit of a talking video because I like just sitting down and talking to you guys. I have a couple things written down that I wanted to talk about. As you guys know, in the last couple months I have came into a lot of success, so I wanted to sit down and talk about a couple things that I've learned over the course of the 2 years of me doing online business and what I do with Ecom. Just talk to you guys and get real, because not everything is sunshines and rainbows, and I don't want you guys to think that it is. So just have a couple things that I wrote down that I want to talk to you guys about. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about that I wrote down is when I started out, I really did not know what to do, and I know a lot of people that are watching this video probably are in a very similar position. If you have not tried any type of online business and you're just very new to it, you do not know what to do. And so one of the biggest things when I started for me was the stress of not knowing what to do and how to go about that. So honestly, when I first started, I did not know what to work on. I didn't know what to do to actually push the needle. And so one of the biggest things I learned out of that is understanding that you have to stop procrastinating and just start something, because the biggest thing in business is learning through trial and error. And that is one of the most important things I think that I learned in the entire last 2 years of me running my own business, is learning through trial and error. And now I can look back and really see that if I had not just started something and tried and failed, I would not be where I am today. So understanding that you will not have the perfect plan when you start out. You will not know what to do. You will not know what's right, what's wrong. But the whole point of this entire online business journey that you're about to endeavor on is to figure it out through trial and error. And you will build lots of skills through figuring everything out on your own. Obviously, the whole point of having people around you and people to ask questions is to guide you in the right direction, but you will never know exactly what to do. You will never be on like this perfect plan that people always think that they need, and they need to perfect everything before they start something. You need to just start and be quick, because every single day that you procrastinate and don't start something, you're wasting time. And money loves speed. You need to be fast, not only when you're starting out, but when you're actually running a business. You will understand that being quick and making the right decisions is very important. And learning through trial and error, honestly, was a huge takeaway for me in the last 2 years. So the other thing that I have written down here, I have like 8 things that I just wanted to touch on. The second one is that skills make you rich and not money. So a huge misconception when you aren't successful yet is striving for money. Obviously, that is the ideal output goal, but you need to understand that the whole point of what you're doing and why it's so hard to become successful is because you're building skills. When you earn money by actually building skills and becoming good and mastering a skill, you allow yourself to repeat the same process that got you to where you are multiple times. Skills make you rich, not money. So what you guys need to understand is you need to focus on building real skills. In terms of Ecom, I focus on building my marketing skills. We are not drop shippers, okay? Obviously, that is just the broad term that people use, but we are basically just marketers that are marketing a product. But the only way you're actually going to build something that creates generational wealth is through building the skills to allow yourself to build a brand that actually does that. And so what you need to switch in your mind is to focus on the inputs. Again, I've said this many times in a lot of videos, but focus on the input goals, not the output goals, because the output is just a result of putting in those inputs and building those skills up to become a master at your craft, basically. Instead of just chasing, the money and the result, you need to become valuable and provide value in the market and in the world in general, and you will see money be a result of that input, I promise you. So focusing on building skills and not just chasing the money is going to be so important in your journey, wherever you guys are right now. I want you guys to understand you need to change this in your head, because when you focus on just chasing the money and just chasing the outputs, the lifestyle, the cars, everything, you will not get what you want. When you focus on building the skills to make that actually happen, you will be able to become a master of your craft and repeat that success when you get to that many, many times over, and be able to teach other people. And it is a lifelong skill set that you're building, and that's why it takes so long. All right, so the next thing and the topic that I have written down is talking about how I stayed disciplined through all the hardships through the entire journey that I've been through in the last 2 years. And honestly, the biggest thing is that discipline does come from doing hard things. You will have a lot of moments where you do not want to work, you don't want to wake up and do anything, you feel unbelievably demotivated. Those are the times and the hard things that you need to get through to become successful. Changing your mindset from focusing on motivation and having discipline will make you so much more money than you even know. Yeah, so when you guys are in those hardships and you're trying to figure out what to do through the really hard times in your journey, you need to understand that it is a candid event that you're going to go through. And even when you become successful, you're going to have hardships. But the whole point of the entire journey is being able to, work through the ups, the downs, like anything positive, anything negative in your entire journey, you will be able to work through. And discipline comes from doing those hard things when you don't want to, and you will build a lot of discipline through doing that. You need to have this just delusion that everything is going to work out in your favor, whether it's working now or it's not, whether you've done it for 2 years and lost a bunch of money. I was in the same position. I lost money for 2 years before I found any success. You need to understand that you owe time to the game to become successful, and you just need to put your head down and grind to make your dream life become a reality. That's just how it works. I promise you guys, you're not going to build generational wealth or change your life if you take the easy route and you do easy things, because it is not easy. Business is extremely hard. This is why less than 1% become successful, and you just need to stay disciplined, keep your head down, and focus on the inputs. All right, so the other topic and the next bullet that I have written down that I wanted to talk about is how much your environment affects you. Because for me personally, when I was first starting out, I was obviously around all my high school friends, and the delusions that I had did not seem real at all. And if I had stayed around those people and, allowed them to affect my mentality, I would have not pushed through the hard times and created basically my dream life. As you guys know now, I, have made a lot of money, and I'm able to do things that I was not before at such a young age, where people think, this isn't even possible and you just got lucky. But the point is, having those people around you that basically increase your ceiling of what's possible is very important. And that's why, having the right people around you makes a huge difference. And when you're in those starting phases and you're just hanging out, with your high school friends or whoever's around you that basically doesn't do what you do, they will not understand anything. Keep everything to yourself. Don't talk about it. Just work and grind and make connections in, the space that you're in, because you will see younger people doing way bigger numbers than you are, and it'll open that reality to you and make you understand that those things are possible. It literally just increases your ceiling. That, like, the people that I surround myself around now, like, I have some, 16-year-olds doing bigger numbers than I am. My business partner's 17 and he's doing these numbers with me. It pushes me to be a better person because of the people around me. So try to surround yourself with the right people. When you get around people that are doing these crazy numbers, at your age, at a younger age, at an older age, you start to realize that these people are operating at a whole different level, and your standard of normal will completely change. And so just understanding that when you need to cut yourself off from people that are not benefiting you, you need to just sit down and do it with yourself, like, in the best interest. Because I promise you, once you start to see the people that, actually become successful in whatever space you're in, whether you run a brand, whether you run an agency, whatever it is, surround yourself with people that are in that space that have done these big numbers to allow yourself to see what's truly possible and change your mindset, because your environment really is a huge factor in your success. And if you are just by yourself, around your high school friends, telling them what you're doing, you will not become successful. You have to just step away from that and allow yourself to create a new level of normal in your life and with what's actually possible, because I promise you, it will change your entire mindset. Like, seeing some of these guys around me in one of the groups Evolve that are doing, 250K days, for me, I don't even feel like I'm, anywhere yet. And I'm 19 doing pretty crazy numbers, but it just creates this way higher ceiling where I know how much is possible, and it allows me to keep that motivation and just continue pushing, even though I don't look for motivation. Obviously I stay disciplined and I get my work done every day, but it still allows me to see what's still possible, even though I've already fallen into a lot of success. So just try to be around the right people, and if people aren't benefiting you, step away from them. Even if it's hard, I promise you it's going to benefit you, whether you see that now or not. In 2 years you're going to look back and be like, holy shit, moving away from these people really did change my life. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about is why I think most people quit, before they ever find success. And I think one of the biggest reasons is because they don't understand you need to do hard shit to become successful and to build success that actually changes your life. Like, it is not easy at all. And a lot of people come to me and say, how do I start this? I'm 16, I don't have any money. Like, it is a process. It is something that, could take years, like your entire life, to become successful. Take it step by step and do hard things. And that is a huge reason why people quit, because they really just don't understand how much time gets put into this, and they allow social media and other people to sugarcoat what running a business actually is. So just understanding that it is not easy whatsoever, and you will have an insane amount of, negative things pop up in your head where, it's not possible, a lot of doubts and just feeling down about yourself. But letting yourself, feel those things and just pushing through it the next day will allow you to become successful. And ultimately, a lot of people fall into, bad habits because their, head's not in the right space, and they allow those thoughts to kind of, like, they act on those thoughts, and they just end up quitting and falling into what people consider the normal, and don't see, the type of person that they could be, because they don't understand that business is not easy and it's going to be a long process. So if you can change that in your head and understand it is going to work out, it just takes a lot of time, I promise you, you will allow yourself to become the person you want to be. You just need to work fucking hard, literally. All right, so the last thing that I wanted to talk about is when things finally started to work out, what actually changed for me. Because I think what a lot of people think is that, becoming successful will just change their entire life, and, from one day to the other, they're going to be a fully different person. They're going to be happier. They're going to be, satisfied in their life. But I promise you, those things are a complete facade, and you really won't change that much unless you allow the money to change you, in a bad way. In my sense, I try to bless other people with the success that I've had in the last couple of years. And so I think in that aspect, money really has changed me in a positive way. And I'm allowing myself to change because of the success that I've had. I want you guys to understand that your life is not just going to, flip a switch and you're going to be this different person who's, rich and just happy. Money's not going to make you happy. It'll allow you to do things that make you happier. Again, like blessing other people. Those things in your life are going to, change you for the better. But going into business and looking at the future and saying, okay, when I make money, I'm going to be happy, is just complete bullshit. And you guys cannot see it that way at all. So honestly, just the last thing about that I wanted to talk about is, please don't let the money change you for the worst, because a lot of people, find success and, do a lot of bad things. They'll cut off people in their life that were there for them and just become, a really negative person. Try to bless other people when you fall into success, help other people out. Don't, become a bad person because of money. It really is something that can change you in a lot of ways, but if you allow it to change you for the better, you're going to just overall be a better person and be happier in general. Like, that's the biggest thing for me, is the money itself didn't make me happy, but the things that it allows me to do ultimately do make me happy. Like taking my brother to Miami, as you guys know, I flew him out, fully paid for it. Those things make me feel amazing. Buying my parents gifts for Christmas, being able to spoil people that were with me for my entire journey and my entire life are the things that make me happy. And that is what money actually changed for me. I didn't allow it to, let me cut off all these people in my life, like become an asshole. Like, it has blessed me in so many ways that I just can't allow myself to keep that to myself. Like, I just want to bless other people, and I want you guys to, be able to do the same thing and actually do it, because it will make you a lot happier. Not the money itself, but the things that you can do with the money that you have. All right, so the last thing, because I know it's been a little bit of a yap session, is what is one thing I would say to my 15-year-old self if I was talking to him right now, and it is that nobody is coming to save you. Honestly, like, what I didn't understand, is, again, like, I was looking for this perfect plan to success, exactly, the guidance of what to do. But in reality, nobody is going to give that to me. Nobody's going to do that for me, and nobody is going to come save you. You need to just sit down and start something somewhere, trial and error, like, figure business out as a whole. It's not going to be easy, but that is going to shape you to be, the individual that will be able to come into some crazy wealth. Like, I promise you, right now, you guys look at, successful people, you're like, what am I doing wrong? I wish I was there. But there's so many little things that just shape you as a person throughout your whole journey, that if you were thrown into, running a big Ecom brand, if that's the space that you're in right now, I guarantee you it would all fall apart, because you're not building those skills and you're not becoming the person that can actually do those things and work through those hardships. So if I was talking to my 15-year-old self, I would tell him that nobody's coming to save you. You need to just lock in and put your head down, because it is not going to be easy. And as long as you understand that going into it, you will be able to become successful, I promise you. But that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. I wanted to come out here and just sit down and kind of reflect on, the last 2-3 years of my life. A lot has changed, and I'm super, super blessed. And I hope to inspire a lot of you guys, because as you guys know, I'm relatively young. I'm 19, and I've made a lot of money recently, and I want you guys to see that it's possible. And I don't want to sugarcoat the reality of running a business. So that's kind of my goal with some of these sit down videos, is just to be able to talk to you raw and so you guys understand the reality of it, because there's a lot more to it than just the lifestyle and shit that people post on the internet. But hopefully you guys got a little bit of information out of this video. I love you guys, and I just promise, put your head down and focus. Your life is going to be amazing if you just take all the negatives, all the positives, and just try to be positive out of everything and put your head down and work. But I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.